Good morning. This is Jack, my Richardson, JJ Diamond, Jackie Deja, whatever y'all call me. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm having a bad allergy attack. I get my allergy medicine in me, y'all. But that's what it is. I'm used to it. Been like this for many, many years. So I can't complain. I just try to fix it. First I wanted to start with, last night I had joined a live with B Mcfly. And it was a wonderful topic. We were talking about people with no children trying to say how to raise children or giving feedback on what to do with a child when they don't have any children. And I think it was a good topic because even though you don't have children, you've been a child. And you know how you were treated. And sometimes you can look at a child's face and tell if they're uncomfortable with certain situations in their life. I did get a chance to speak with B Mcfly during this session of the live and give him my thoughts. And my thoughts was for the parents to listen if someone say, hey, not to be, and I always try to tell people this too. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, So even if you don't have kids and you see something with a person that does have kids and you try to tell them, hey, I think you should do this, and then maybe things will get a little bit better. Parenting doesn't come with an instruction booklet, and I tell people that every day. However, it takes a village to raise children. And just like in my community, we all stand together, and that's just what it is. People don't understand it. Sometimes people fear us, but that's what it is. We are a community, and we stand together. Now, when I look outside, I can name all my kids, okay? And I call them my kids because guess what? If their parents are not around, I take care of them and help them like they're my kids. Not totally, because some of them are old enough to take care of themselves. However, if they need something, if they need to talk, if they need the extra love, they know where to come, okay? So this is when we say it takes a village to raise a child, we stand together. And that's what people need to understand. Now, a lot of people are scared of my kids. Because, sometimes they can be a little wild, but I go out there and I talk to them. And have to laugh. As long as they're not doing anything to cause them to go to jail or get hurt, I'm okay. They know I love music. So they play music out there. And I be playing music in here. So it's a lot of work we have to put in communities for us to see improvement. I was trying to touch base on certain things because people were saying, and I couldn't because they things start getting a little out of hand and off topic at the end of the live. However, I wanted to bring this to people's attention on my podcast. As we come together as a community, okay, it was a movie out. I forgot the name of the movie. But it was a movie where the kids wasn't being taught right in the community, and the woman had to go to the Congress and fight with them in order to get some changes made. But guess what? That's the way it works in real life as well, okay? And people don't understand that. We sit back and talk about, we have no options. We can't do this. We can't do that. Yes, we can, especially when we come as a team, okay? We don't always have to come fighting. And see, that's the problem with our culture. We always want to fight. You don't always have to fight with your fists, okay? There's a way to fight with your voice, okay? And just the units alone, and when I say the units, meaning the people. Okay? So, this one person said, well, I don't know what we can do. And I think she was out of California. And I think she's into the music business as well. She was out of California and she said something about, well, what's the next step? And I was trying to tell them that, but I was getting a little tired because it was already past my bedtime. I was doing school all day yesterday. And people don't understand, even when you're using your mind, that you can get very, very tired. Even though you're sitting around on a computer all day, you can become drained. However, people have to realize that's the purpose of politics, okay? And if we don't let them know, and I constantly tell this to the people in Charlotte on a daily basis. When I came to Charlotte, there was a person that said, we was talking about some things that was going on and I didn't like it. And they said, well, it's nothing you can do about it. What do you mean it's nothing I can do about it? Yes, I can. And I had to explain to that person, yes, I can do something about it. Maybe you don't want to do nothing about it, but I can do something about it. And I'm going to voice my concerns. Okay? And the way to voice those concerns is at the Congress meetings, people. You get together, you go to the Congress meetings, learn what's going on in the city, learn why certain laws are the way they are, and then we voice what we do not want and what we need. That's the way it works. And then we take it to the higher ups. Now, granted, here in Charlotte, I don't even know who the mayor is, okay? And it kind of pissed me off, when I first got here, I'm coming from cities that when they see you do work or see you did work in the past, they coming to you. We're not going to sit back and just watch, okay? But then you got some people that sit back and watch because they don't even know what to do. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, the mayor is one of the people that is supposed to be on the front line in the city to see what's going on and talking to these communities, okay? Seeing what they see. What do you see in your community? Because I don't live in your community. So I don't know what's going on in your community, okay? And this is one of the reasons why I had decided to think about running for mayor, because I do come into the communities. I'm not afraid to talk to the people, okay, and find out what they're feeling in these communities and what challenges they are having, okay? The higher ups don't know what challenges they're having because they ain't never lived this life, okay? So they don't know. All they can do is assume, and we say, when we assume, we make an ass out of you and me. Okay? So that's what the higher ups has been doing. They've been assuming making an ass out of them and us. Because they don't really know what's going on down here. Okay? They can just, think they know. Okay? So we have to tell them. Well, I personally took it upon myself to start connecting with our governor and overpassing the mayor, because we don't even see her tweet. We don't see her do anything. Or he or whoever he is. I don't know who it is. Okay? So I decided to start connecting with our governor and letting him know. Our governor has a website that we can all, as U.S. citizens, residents of North Carolina, voice our concerns. We can also go down to the courthouse. I mean, it's been COVID. Things is getting back to normal. And go to the Congress meetings and find out what's going on in our cities and voice our concerns. So don't tell me there's nothing we can't do about it. Okay, once we get to Congress and they don't do nothing about it, then we have to figure out something else. But until then, until that step has been made, that each community leader has walked into Congress and said, hey, this is what's going on in my community, and I think we need to fix it. We need to come to some type of agreement because my children in my community are having issues. And we need to fix it. There's nothing to fear. This is why we have rights. Okay? And I fight every day, not only trying to do a podcast, living my own life, battling the challenges of my own children, battling the challenges of other children and their children, battling the challenges of trying to build a business. So some things I have to put to the side, and I still got to survive myself. And I try to tell people this is not an easy job. It's hard. I would never say that this is an easy job. It's easy to walk into a community and say, hey, we're going to come together and this is what we're going to do. It's not that easy. You got some people. We had one person was living in our community, and she called the police on one of our people. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? We don't do that. We don't get the police involved in our community stuff. We run our community. So she's going to say to me, well, this ain't the community for me. Then it ain't. You need to go. Because it's not. We don't call the police on our people. Only time we call the police is if our people is out of control and we need to get them to the hospital. Because they did something crazy. But we not calling no police on our people. We not doing that. So anyway, getting to the bottom of things, that topic that he talked about, like, touched home a little bit because my son came to me. You know, my son, Nate Heights, I know him. He came to me and said, Mom, you don't spend enough time with us. Now, I was giving them Fridays, take them to the restaurant for about an hour, because I was working 70 hours a week. So take them to the restaurant for about an hour or so, take them shopping. They had everything they needed, everything they wanted. They had it. But the problem was they didn't have love, because I wasn't home. Okay, I wasn't a single parent. It was a 2-parent household. However, the man stayed home while I worked every day. And, you know, most kids want their mom, you know. And it became a big issue, you know, in my community where we were staying, because they're like, hey, hold on. This man's sitting up on his tail when you supposed to be at home taking care of these kids and giving them the love, that motherly love that they need and deserve. However, it's the opposite way, and we don't like it. This is what they did in our community. They told me, they came to me, Jackie, we don't like it. This is not how it's supposed to be. You need to be home with these kids, not him. And I was like, wow, okay. You know, see, this is what communities do. You know, they can come together and voice their concerns about what goes on in people's lives and households. Because when I was gone, they were doing the mothering for my children. Okay? They were the ones doing the mothering. So they're saying, hold on, why is it you got to work from sun up? No, I'm sorry, not from sun up. From dark to sundown to take care of all of them. And he gets to sit in the house and you can't mother your own children. And we're out here mothering your children. They didn't like it. They put their foot down. It became an issue. That's what community is about. Okay? Allowing the village to come together, voice how they feel, whether you like it or not. And try to make a change. But they were right. Okay? They were right. They was telling me, he's the man, he needs to work. Not stay home and be whatever they call it, a daddy, I forget what they call it, y'all. But they knew it was wrong. So when we moved to Charlotte, he kind of took it halfway because I was still working here in Charlotte, but to an extent. Okay? But my community up there didn't like it. They wasn't having it. And I'm talking black, Hispanic, white, they wasn't having it. They were angry. So angry that I had to move. I bought them a business, okay, because I wanted them to stop beating me down for working so many hours. Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. I spent $102,000 on a business for this man so the community would stop beating me down about me not being a mother to my own children. But they were right. My son came to me and said, Mom, I need your love. And I'm like, well, I'm trying, son, but I have to work and I have to dedicate myself to my job, because if I don't, you know those video games that you get? You know those trips that we go on? You know when those nice sneakers come out and you want them? He was never a Jordan kid, so I didn't have to worry about that portion of life. But he was a gamer. So when those new games came out, I had to go stand on the line and prepay for them before it even come out. Yeah, everybody's into their own thing, you know. So life for him was different. When he said, Mom, I want whatever, I tell him, get my card. You take my card. But he was raising himself. Granted, he wasn't the type of child to be out in the street. Why? Because my village was tight. Okay, my village said, we're not going to allow them, while she's working her tail off, to be running around here doing whatever they want to do. And they took it upon themselves to make sure that they raised my children the proper way while I was gone. So shout out to Edgewood for that. And all the people that did assist me. You know, it was one day, I'll never forget this. One of my neighbors, one of my children, the smaller one, Jair, the boy, he went outside. I just got home from work. I was tired. I didn't feel like cooking. And he went outside and told them, because he was so used to going outside for help with them. So he went outside and told them, I'm hungry and ain't no food in there. So my next door neighbor told him, I said, I know that's a lie. Your mother makes a lot of money, and I see her coming here with bags and bags of food. So that's a lie. I know it's a lie. You're not going to be out here telling people that y'all ain't got no food in your house. That's not how we roll. And I know you got food in your house. Your mom just tired and can't get up and cook. So she came to the door and she said, Jackie, Jair out here telling me ain't no food in there. I said, he didn't even come and tell me he was hungry. Let alone go out there and tell somebody there was no food in my house. Which there was food in my house. But I was so tired. And if you're not telling me as a child to come and say, even though it's my job as a parent to come to the children and say, hey, y'all hungry, y'all ready to eat what y'all want to eat. I was tired. I was feeling sick. I went straight to bed. So instead of him coming saying to me, Ma, are you going to cook or something? You know, I turned around and wound up ordering something. Because money wasn't an issue. All he had to do was come and say what he needed. But this is what kids do. Okay? And this is a topic that B Mcfly touched upon as well. Kids rebel. Okay? And they do things their way because they're not seeing eye to eye with you. So this is where I came up with the agreement in myself. When my kids speak, I listen. Not to the point where I'm going to do everything they say do, but I'm going to take it into consideration. I'm going to analyze what they're saying to me and try my best to fix the situation. Not based on what I think is right, based on the whole scenario. Okay? So after that, when that happened, it only takes once for me. Even when I'm sick, I would stop and pick up something to eat or order out. And see, this is the other thing. They probably didn't eat because it was a Friday. And normally on Friday, I come home and I take them to dinner. Okay, they was used to every Friday we would go out to dinner. And that's probably why they didn't eat, because they was expecting me to come home and take them out. And then when I went straight to bed, him being a child, he didn't understand, like, what is mommy trying to do? You know, she ain't feeding us tonight. You know, so I get it. So when that happened, from that point on, and that particular weekend, I believe, was a push weekend at work. Okay, a push week at work. And we worked extra hard during the push week. So, and I was feeling sick, and I was having my allergy issues, and, you know, I was just going through it. And I said, I just can't wait to get home and lay down, you know. And I was that one that never took off of work. So even if I was sick, I would just pile myself a bunch of medication and just go to work because I needed my money. However, after that happened, and he did that to me, I went every Friday, either take them out or bring something in so that won't happen again, because that's what they were used to. Okay, and that's what he did. He rebelled on me. He went out there and pretty much lied and said we ain't had no food when we had a freezer full of food. And then I look at things like now, even with my 12-year-old. She'll come to me and say, well, Mom, we ain't got no food. I said, what do you mean? He said, we don't have no food. Well, we ain't got nothing that I like. Okay, then just say that. But people would think that because you say we don't have no food, that you really don't have no food. But this is when the village has to stand in and know who is who. You know what I mean? And as parents, we have to be able to take advice from other parents in the village. Because we're all fighting the same battle, and that's to keep our kids safe, taken care of properly, and make sure they all get the correct knowledge before they go out there to raise themselves. That's the key. If we have a child in a community that's wilding, we come together and try to fix that situation. Okay? That's the way it works. All my kids has been brought up in community settings. And I've been a part of that community. Most of the time, I'm the leader most of the time. But in Maryland, I wasn't because I worked so hard. So I couldn't be the leader of the community. And you know, I would do stuff for the kids. You know, I feed them. And if we have, say, a birthday going on with one of mine, I would bring them all, you know, to the park and, do events. Or I would, after work, I shout out to Donald. I know y'all may see me share his post sometime. He was one of the community fathers. Wonderful community father. He didn't play the nonsense. He would get on them kids' tails. It got to the point where we would do we had a every other day thing. One day when he get off of work, he would take the boys. One day when I get off of work, I would take the boys. I don't know what he did with the boys, but I used to take them to the track and we would run. That's what I would do with the boys. So I, killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm getting my exercise that I needed to get for me. Plus they're getting burnt out, and that way they have exercise and activity in their life. So we were good, and I had the baby, which was Egypt at the time. She'd be in a stroller and I'd be pushing and running, in a stroller. So this is what me and him did to run our 2. We had to pull them out of the actual community village thing and just focus on them 2 because they was getting into too much trouble. Okay? And it was getting so bad to where people was just pointing a finger and stereotyping and not trying to help at this point. They didn't want to be bothered because now they're at the point where they got smart mouths and, well, you ain't my parent and blah, 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 and, and getting in trouble. But shout out to his son because his son is doing very well, and I mean, my grandson is not as where he should be, but he's still alive and he's not in jail. So I'm thankful for that. You got to be thankful for every little thing, okay, these days, But I say all that to say, it takes a community. It takes people to sit down and put something together. But if everybody is going to be, oh, that's not my problem, I'm not going to deal with that. I'm just going to stay behind my closed doors and lock my doors until I can move because this community is too wild. No, we have to go out there and adjust our community and see what's going on. It got to a point right here in this community where I'm at, the kids would come and report to me and tell me what was going on in the community. I didn't even have to come out there. They'd go, Miss Jackie, as soon as they see me get in my car, let me tell you what happened. And so-and-so did so-and-so. I said, oh, really? Okay. They were all my kids. I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk to them about that. Okay, thank you. This is how we work in the community. So, when a person tell me, oh, well, when you moving? When I get enough money to buy a home? I'm not leaving my community to go to another community that I have to learn these people when I already know these people. It doesn't make sense. I know these people. So now I'm going to go live in somebody else's community and got to go through all learning each and every parent. Not only do we know the community here, we have a community behind us, and they join with us too. And we got another one on the other side. They don't join. Now we one big community. We know the kids from all three communities. And I'm supposed to leave this community and go somewhere else and start all over. It's too much work. I'm comfortable now. I know my kids. Black, Hispanic, it don't matter. And they know when they hungry where they can come and get something to eat. Because they know if they mama ain't cooking, Miss Jackie cook. I know she got something in there I can eat, a noodle. Because ain't no ACS being called up in this community. Ain't no kids being taken in this community. If the mama going through something, we got her back until she get it together. As long as that child is not being physically harmed, we got you. That's what community is about. Not stereotyping and pointing the finger, because everybody goes through different issues. You could be going through a breakup and the father on the left, you took all the money, similar to what I went through. They just didn't give a damn. Your mind ain't right, but your kid is suffering throughout this. This is where the community comes in and grabs that child and say, Mommy just going through something right now. Let her vent, let her do what she do, and you come on with us. We got you. Just let Mommy get herself together. That's what community and community love is about. So until we learn how to control our own communities and then stand together to go to Congress and say, hey, this is what our community needs, this is what we're lacking, because certain situations we can't fix. Because we don't have enough power and y'all do. And we the power standing together. That's the way it works, people. There's always a way to get around everything. Stop saying that there's no way. Because there is. You just have to know the right channels. And you have to be enlightened. And knowledge is the key. Knowledge is the key. I pulled up one day, one of my kids that had moved away. They had actually moved away. And, but their school bus was still coming here. So they decided to wait for their parents to, come pick them up. And I got out my car. What you doing here? Waiting on my mama. I said, you okay? You all right? You want to come upstairs? No, she'll be here in a minute. I said, okay, that's my job. as a community mother to make sure that any child that's in my community is okay. That's every mother in the community. You know, they would say, oh, Miss Jackie's just so nice. Why, she just be doing so much, for the kids. Because that's my job. Just because I have kids, and I say, I'm not going to put it like this. I'm not going to, any child that's out here is a child that's helpless. And if the parent is not around to help that child, it's your responsibility in the community to protect that child at all means. And that's the biggest problem. People don't want to be a part of that. It has nothing to do with these kids is just running wild. People no longer want to be a part of that. So if we had more parents that would wake up and say, okay, we got all these 5, 6, 7-year-olds in the community. If I see them, go, hey, don't be doing that. Just like I used to tell mine, get out the tree. And I knew I wasn't focusing the other day because I saw one in the tree, a new community kid, and I didn't tell him to get out the tree. And I knew my mind was, I'm going through some things, because I got a lot on my plate. So I'm trying to teach my younger ones that's out now running the community. It's y'all turn now. So y'all got to be the ones that say, hey, get out that tree before you fall and break an ankle or a leg or something. Okay, that's the way it works. You train the younger ones to do it. I got one in training right now. There's only one. And he's doing a good job. I got one in training. But this is the way it works, people. You can't just think about your children. And then when they grow up and start doing all this craziness, you wonder why. Because they didn't have that village to raise them. And once they get to a certain age, at a certain point, it's too late. It's just too late. And that's just the facts. And there's one guy from the Bronx I got on the live. And he had said his parents knew it was too late for him. So all they would do is pray. At that point, that's all you can do. Because now they starting to step out the community and doing, all kind of unnecessary stuff. My kids, when I say my kids, meaning my kids and the kids across the street over there and the kids over here, my kids, because they're still my kids. They stay in this community. They don't leave this community without an adult. I don't know if y'all saw me on Facebook this summer. When I was running up and down the road, they wore me out. But they needed a support system. An adult that was going to be there for them. So I had to put that work in. But they wore me out. Every time I turned around, we was at Carowinds. I had to run up and down the road to Carowinds. It got so bad, I said, maybe I should move closer. But then I'm like, okay, we still going to have to go get the friends, all the kids. No, I'll just stay where I'm at. We're going to have to figure this thing out. So then that's when I had to tell the other parents and like, look. Now we got a new community member. She don't even live in our community. She lives on the other side. I mean, it's still the same area, east side of Charlotte, but she's on the other side. But she's joined us and said, yeah, we're going to get these kids together and take them out to the mall, take them to the park. Because I took them out to the park and took them to get something to eat, and do things with them to keep them off the street. It takes effort. It takes the love of other children, not just your own. An idle mind can be destroyed. And we have to keep these kids active. Now, like right now, I work on the weekends. That's my weekend hustle. You know, and I make pretty good, decent money on the weekend. Now, like this weekend that just passed, I was sick. I just wasn't feeling. I was feeling so bad. I took over work, and I was so mad because I missed almost $200 for that day. It hurt my heart. I had to get myself together. I guess I was getting burnt out because of all the things that I do, you know, and I realized I still have to be a parent for my child and for the kids in the community as well. So I have to stay healthy. I can't beat myself down over and over and over to where now I'm in the hospital and they need me. So I have to take care of myself. See, I took it for granted. Like when I was in Edgewood, I took it for granted, you know. I can run until I can't run no more because I do got my community. I got the baby daddy. He's there, you know, and he can pick up the pieces. Even if he don't pick up the pieces when I'm at work, if I'm there, at least I can tell him what to do, you know, to pick up the pieces. But if I'm you know, in the hospital, I can't do anything. So I've learned, you know, my experience through that was to learn, if you're feeling bad, stay home and get yourself together. Even COVID taught me that. You know, I never had COVID, but it taught me that, you know, when they kept saying, yo, you coughing, don't come up in here. You stay home, go get tested, do something. Because we don't want other people getting sick. So I've learned. You know, I've learned. And sometimes that's what it takes, knowledge. They used to laugh at me. I would come to work, my legs hurting, my back hurting, and I'd be limping in and checking, why you ain't just stay home? And I'm like, no, I got to come get my money. I got to pay bills. I got a family of 8 to take care of. And I'm the only income. That's why I'm here. My kids don't want to hear I ain't got no money to feed them. They ain't eating noodles. My kids eat noodles for fun. Not because that's their dinner. They eat it because that's what they like. I like a noodle. Not because that's their only choice. And I try to tell people that. But, you know, they let me know that, well, guess what? They may not even have a noodle if you never walk again. And pretty much that's what B Mcfly was trying to say in his live. Should we listen to what other people say? I say we should analyze what other people say because not everybody's right, but not everybody's wrong. And it's okay to voice your opinion on a situation that you see. You know, some people get angry when you voice your opinion about stuff. And you're like, how can you get angry with me when I see you not doing stuff right? And I'm just telling you what I see. And I want you to get it right before it gets worse. It's okay. If you can't be taught, excuse me. If you can't be taught, okay, even though you've been living a certain kind of way all your life, and someone comes into your life and tell you, well, I don't know how you lived in your life, but this is how I live in my life. This is how my family lived. Now, oh, matter of fact, I'm going to use this for instance. I met a guy, you know, and we was actually trying to get our relationship together. And, you know, he was like, you know, I really want to be with you. I want to stay with you. And I'm like, oh, really? Do you? Can you handle my lifestyle? My lifestyle is a little bit different. Now, everybody on Cortland Avenue in the Bronx, in the middle of the South Bronx, knows that by a certain time, my doors was closed. There was no ringing my bell. There was no coming in my house. None of that. unless it was a Friday. Even though we lived in the middle of the South Bronx, we lived like a suburban family. So it's not where you at, it's all on how you live. It's a lifestyle. You know, I had to tell a couple of people, matter of fact, telling a couple of people, 50 Cent, Jim Jones, a few years back, maybe about 10 years back, it was like, well, what does she do, you know? And I kept trying to tell them, it's a lifestyle. Now, these guys have seen way more money than me, but my lifestyle is different. We live a different lifestyle. So it's funny, I know you like the way, getting back to the guy, I know you like the way I look, I know you like the way I dress, I know you like the way, you may even like the food that I cook. But can you live my lifestyle? So you got to think about a lot when you dating people. Because either you got to join their lifestyle or they got to join yours. And it plays a big part in people's lives. This is why a lot of relationships don't work. Because they get into these relationships. This is another thing I saw in a post today, I'm sorry. Where it says, no sex before marriage. And something else about God. Now, y'all know I'm a Christian. Okay? But Jesus Christ knew, okay, that I'd rather a woman and a man come together and know that they can be together and live the same lifestyle before they join union and paper. Because once your souls are bonded, in God's eyes, you are married already. Okay? See, there's two different marriages. There's a godly marriage, and then there's a paper marriage. People keep getting them confused because these people are not real Christians or true believers of God. The paper marriage just bonds and tells the government that we're married. But see, the government start realizing that people have been together for many, many years. Like me and my old man, my daughter's father. We was together for 16 years. According to the government, being that we had time in, we still was looked at as married partners. If you Googled me, he came up. Because we've been together, living in the same household for more than 10 years. Together. We just didn't have it on paper. Well, we did because some of our bills was together. Not everybody go downtown and get physically married. Or to City Hall, or wherever. I said downtown, but y'all know what I mean. Some people do it where they just put everything in each other's names. It could be for several reasons. But each party has to be divorced. They can't have excess baggage. And then you can go ahead eventually and tie the knot. After 16 years, this man decided he didn't want to tie the knot. So he had to go. I accepted it because he knew what the end result was supposed to be. Because he had a situation that at the time, we didn't think it was, feasible for us to get married because it would hurt me. But when he decided, after the 16 years, I don't even like you no more. And I'm like, look, I don't even like you either. Well, I'm leaving. All right, bye. I would have married you though, but because we've been together so long, but we don't even like each other no more. Reason why we didn't like each other no more, because one, we couldn't build because we couldn't do certain things. Like we was lacking money. When you're married, you get more money, like on taxes. Things is a little bit different when you're government married. So it plays a big part. People have to stop confusing the two. Because then you start making these kids believe that, oh, well, I got to marry this person. I don't know how they live, how they was brought up, and then I got to go live with this person that I really don't even know. Now I'm confused. Now I'm stressed. Now I have anxiety. I want out of this marriage. This is why so many people get divorced. Because you're walking into something you don't even know. I need to be around you. I need to sleep around you. I need to know your every move. If I'm planning to be with you for the rest of my life, my first 6 months of my life is not going to be overwhelmed and stressed because I don't even know you. It's just one thing when you know somebody outside. You know, you see him and you in the house. You outside, y'all chilling, whatever. Yeah. You know, blah, 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 blah. But when you start talking about physically living in a household with people, it's a whole nother ball game. Everybody got to know how everybody moves. That's the way it works. What's their daily thing? Now, even though, like, me and my ex was together for 16 years, he can tell you, and we ain't together no more. Okay? I can't stand him, he can't stand me. But I bet you, he can tell you right now, when I get off of this podcast, what I'm going to do. He can tell you. And he miles away. Because he lived in my area. And we lived a certain lifestyle together for so long. And I can tell you right now what he's doing. You can't just jump up and go marry people. Now, if y'all gonna create your own lifestyles, like I met this young couple. I think I told y'all about that yesterday. I met this young couple, and they've created their own lifestyles, and they being stereotyped because of it. It's not fair. Don't knock somebody because they have a certain lifestyle they want to live, because they want to live organic and they want to do different things, and they don't want to eat meats. And why are you knocking them? This is the lifestyle they choosing to build. So all this stuff plays a part in community, people. Like people tell my community, they tell you what, you know, Jackie don't eat beef and she don't eat pork. It shouldn't matter to them. But they know. They know some of my illnesses. Because we are family. They know my grandson used to have episodes. So they would come and try to help me with that. For other parents that go through with their children having episodes, we come on out and help with that. This is what we do as a community. So, yeah, we should listen when other people speak, even if they don't have children. And that's just my thoughts. Okay, in a full podcast. I only had a few minutes with, talking to B Mcfly because he had other people that wanted to come into the live and speak about how they felt. But this is my 1 hour thoughts on his topic and how I feel about the situation and what people should do to try to help these communities. I grew up, okay? I try to tell people every day, the building across the street from my house, 370, okay? And I lived in a 2-story family home, 2-story, I don't know if you want to call it, it was a 2-apartment house, okay? But it was a house right across the street. And I had more mothers in that building across the street in the projects, okay? I had so many, I can't even count them on my hand. Because they raised that community. And every time a new kid came around, well, who is this? They taught me how to do this thing. Okay, that's why shout out to 370. They're the ones who taught me how to do this thing. This is how I was brought up. It's a lifestyle. That's why I say you don't stereotype people that come from the projects. Not at all. People, they came from the projects. Okay, just because they came from the projects don't mean that they was bad people and they didn't live good lives. 2-parent households. Here it is. I lived in a whole house and I was in foster care. That was my family, for what they call it, foster kinship. These people had both of their parents in their houses in the projects. And lived just like my people in the house. It's a lifestyle. If I went over to my friend's house and it was dinner time, they sat me down to eat. And the same as if someone came to my house. That wasn't us as children, our decision. That was the adults' decision. I would hear some of the mamas say, get Jackie a plate. I'm like, oh no, it's almost 5. I gotta go home and eat anyway. They cooking dinner. Because our dinner was always ready at 5. Or if the day mamas was cooking something that I liked, I'd be like, I ain't going home. I'm gonna stay here and eat. Get Jackie a plate. We sat down at the table and ate dinner. In the projects. It's a lifestyle. So anyway, yeah, community people. It starts, a lot of kids, it's too late for them, but all we can do at this point is start raising the younger ones up the right way now. It may be too late for some people. It may be too late for some old people. But we got to start new and now with these younger ones and raise them up the right way. People say to me, you're a good mother. I'm like, well, what's a good mother? Because these kids stresses me out. I do my best. I try. Because some days I be confused too. Because every child is different. Even if you had the children. Every child is different. So you got to learn these children. You know how long it took for me to learn my little Junior? And he had to learn me too. And he wasn't even my child. That was my grandbaby. But he knew there was certain things he could do. And he knew there was certain things he couldn't. And there were certain things I had to teach him. He knew I was going to take him to the park. He knew I was going to buy him some snacks. He knew. He knew that when it was time to eat, because I'll be in the kitchen cooking, he'd come stand there and look at me. He knew. We have to start at home. And it's okay, people, to be tired. You come from work and you got these kids. You have to give them nature. You ever went in a community and you see a woman sitting on a porch or on the steps and her kids is running and she just sitting there? Sometimes, you may see them reading a book, listen to their music, whatever the case may be. Because she knows, that mother knows, I got to give this kid some nature. Get out there and run and play. And sit in your car. But these are the things we have to do. Go pull up at the park. This is what you have to do as parents. When you take on that job and say, you know what, I'm going to have these babies. I want to be a caretaker of children, my own. These are the things that you have to do. And that's just what it is. And we have to work to keep our children safe. Now, if you know, this one girl got on a podcast, on the live last night. She was saying how her kid was being bullied, fighting every day, so his grades wasn't right. Okay, I had wanted to get in there, but I couldn't because, it's hard when you're doing them lives. But I wanted to tell her, as a parent, she had the right to remove her child out of that school. Okay, and even if she put her child in another school, and she had to take 2 buses, whatever it takes as a parent to get your child out of that environment, you must do. Granted, yes, we know that the schools are bad and the kids is not controllable, but you don't have the right to control somebody else's children. Granted, I probably would have went up to the school and controlled them kids and their mamas too, because that's just who I am. You know what I mean? Everybody's cut from a different cloth. However, some mothers just don't have that oomph. So that's when you got to do an extra little bit more work. There's other schools. If a school sees that a child is losing lack of interest because of the other children in the school and there's nothing they can do about it, they have to transfer the child. Even they can make exceptions, depending on how far you live from the other school, to get that child transportation. But you as a parent have to play your part as well. And see, that's the problem. Parents always want to put everything off on the schools. Do your part as a parent. Now, if I know that I'm a little scared, I don't want to be messing with these kids and their mamas and stuff like that. So I'm going to just let my kid get beat up every day. And no. When you have a kid, you got to have some oomph. You got to have some oomph. Because anything can happen at any given time, and you have to protect that child. So think about those things when you have children. Now, that was happening. My kids, they protect themselves. Ooh. One of mine was being bullied. I was bullied as a child too, but I ain't got to worry about that. I'm gonna just say that for right now, and never say nothing. But when somebody bullying my kid, I'm coming to the school, and I want to see your mama. Yeah, because I want to know how your mama raising you. Is this how you raise your child? Because if this is how you raise your child, now I got to see you. If you having issues at home and there's a problem, then now me and you need to come together to find out how we can help this child. Because you may be a single mother, or the father may be an addict and he's causing ruckus in the home, which makes the kid act out when they get to school, let's talk. Because if I see that it's you, now me and you got a problem. But if I see that it's because you can't control your child and your child is being rebellious, I'm the type of parent that's going to step in and try to help you. But I'm not going to let your child or any other kids hurt one of mine. And it's not going down that way. I had another one got on saying, turn the other cheek. No, you don't turn the other cheek. Somebody do something to you, you step in and you fix it. That's the way it works. I guess that's a lifestyle too. You don't just let people do whatever they want to you. So, and you get somebody to help you. That same child that's rebellious maybe just needed another parent to step in and see how they were feeling, to fix the issue. So, this is the things that we have to look at. Some things we turn the other cheek on, yeah. But first we have to see the situation. Now, those mothers that think they're going to run up because their child is this and that, you got a problem when you step into me. And they know it. You got a problem. So don't come at me like that. Y'all must got some issues at home or whatever. You come at me like that, Miss Jackie, but this is the situation, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm not with it. Because I'm from the old school. We whip our kids. That's just what it is. They act up, we whoop them. They say whoopings ain't good. Well, whoopings is enough to teach them to respect me. Because once I lose respect, then the streets done lost respect. And that's what people have to see. Once your children lose respect for the parents, they're going to lose respect for the streets. So we as parents must keep our respect for our children. Our children must keep that respect for us. Just like my grandson, he's a doozy, but he know how much respect, how far he can go with me. It's like when he broke my car window. He knew it was going to take a long time for me to speak to him again. He knew it. And he knew he had to pay me. He knew it. The moment he did it. But he was acting out. He was being rebellious. But like I tell him, I didn't create your life. You did. I raised you. I tried to tell you, but you wasn't listening. So now you're mad because you did this to your life, and now you're looking at me. I didn't do this to you. And I didn't train you this way. But then you have other people that want to step in and try to tell you how to raise your child. I've been living with this kid for many years. I already know what this kid is capable of. Because I'm the type of parent that analyze my children. Granted, we're not with them all the time, so we don't know everything they do. Like my community right here. My community mothers will come. I seen your son. He was walking down such as a... Oh, really? Thanks, girl. I'm not going to walk away and talk about, oh, her nosy. You know how some people is, they turn their face and then now they want to talk crap. So when he get home, even if it wasn't him, even if he get home, well, I was driving such and I saw you. Oh, yeah, Ma, I had left school. Because my kids tell me the truth. That's one thing about my kids. I got one that'll lie a little bit. I mean, well, They're liable to a certain extent, but when I confront them, I'm going to say that. When I confront them about something, they're going to come honest. And say, well, yeah, Ma, I had left school because blah, blah, blah. Well, you know you shouldn't have left school. And my children are like that because I taught them to be. You know what? Here we go. Parenting. The child talk about she don't feel good. Now, if I was at work, I would have had to leave work as a parent. I would have to leave work, go pick her up, bring her home, nurse her. Parenting is hard, y'all. Parenting is just hard. Now, I had somewhere to go this morning, okay, after this podcast. And now I got to deal with her and her sick butt. A friend of mine wanted a baby. I thought he was loony bin. A baby? I'm tired of being a parent. I had to explain to him, I just want to be your lover. I don't want to be no parent. Okay? I'm trying to get away from being a parent. A parent is not an easy job. It's the hardest job ever. Trying to prepare these kids for life. But we still need help. And B Mcfly was right. It takes a village to raise children. And that's just the facts, people. We have to come together, unity. You know, listen to one of my songs. I don't know which one. I got so many. I can't even remember. Each song I just be saying stuff. And what I say? Private Friend Incorporated is in. In other words, meaning I'm in part of the villages, helping raise these children. I'm in. Children need to be able to go outside and play. Children need to be able to come home to a stable environment. Children should be able to come home and have a meal on their plate. No child should go to bed hungry. No child should have to be around arguing, bickering, an unsafe environment in their home. You know, I wanted to tell them that too. My brain was just going while we was having this live. Some of these kids that come outside and they're violent outside, this is what they see in their households. Because they may have addiction going on in their households. Or one of the parents may be just aggressive, and you just don't know what's going on behind them closed doors. And it affects these children. They not out there gang banging because they want to be. If their lives were so easy. Some of them may just be followers. But not all. It starts in the home. This is Jacqueline Richardson, J.J. Diamond, Jackie Deja, whatever y'all call me. I love you guys. Y'all check out B Mcfly. He has a lot of good topics, a lot of good videos for people to reference to. You know, we also had a girl on there last night. She just wanted to vent. She was off topic, but she just wanted to vent being a black mother, black single mother raising boys. She just wanted to vent. And we had to let her vent. We wouldn't have been right if we didn't let her vent. Because she needed that. so she can continue to do what she needs to do. She said, I'm in here cooking. And she was trying to cook to feed her babies. I guess she just came home from work and she's looking at the pie, at the live. And she's like, I got to cook this food. It was about 8:30 at night. She got to feed these kids. And this is what I was trying to explain to, like with Amazon. I love my job. But you got people working 10 hours a day. People still got to go home and feed their kids. So if I leave your job at 6, when my kids should be eating at 6, now I got to go home and prepare a meal. So now I'm not getting to bed till 8 or 9 because I still got to take a bath because I got to get up and visit you again and put work in. Why would you do this to your Americans? Why? Let it be a choice if they want to work 10 hours. Let it be a choice. Because some of these people have families and obligations. Once again, this is Jacqueline Richardson, Miss J.J. Common, Jackie Deja, whatever y'all call me. I love y'all.
From Jacqueline.